Lucky Lefty Podcast, the ONORA boys. We're back in the building. Missed you, Left. We both had busy weeks, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. It's that premium.
The premium.
The premium. It's the best way to enjoy that victory sip when Notre Dame gets another devastating win against the Virginia Cavaliers on this upcoming Saturday. And if you're going to drink 50-pointer. Who thought we were going to be saying that after week 2? And if you're going to drink, by all means, make sure you do it
responsibly.
You got to do it responsibly. Yes.
Ain't nobody gonna treat you better. Ain't nobody gonna touch you better. Ain't nobody gonna love you better, boy, than I am. When you're out at night and you're in the streets.
Lucky Lefty and Nora boys, MALIK'S, ZAIRE, SHAUN, Davis. Put your GTB questions in the chat. Super chats. We'll get to them. Your game predictions in the chat. Everything else, keep it lit as always, Notre Dame fans. TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Subscribe on YouTube. Leave your comments, questions. And then make sure that you leave that thumbs up. Smash it for us. It helps out with all the views. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audio Edibles, each and every day, CFB Nation. Spotify, and then patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network, Players Only Podcast, and Lucky Legends Podcast. You know, we're the home of the misguided passion, and we will forever be committed to making sure that we spin it different. So, hey, we're going to get to Malik's 3 keys. We're going to hear from both coordinators as always. We're going to get Malik's pre-snap read on the offense and how they're going to attack this Virginia Cavalier defense that is playing a whole lot better. They are up and down, but they've been playing a lot better. In the offense, they have weapons. So later in the show, we're going to hear from Al Golden how he thinks Notre Dame needs to really step it up on the interior of that defensive line against a Virginia offense that has some success running the ball on a weekly basis. And then we're going to give our game prediction. And then the CFB, some big games this weekend. Big games. You might as well call this the first round. The playoffs have started.
Yeah.
The playoffs have started. Like right now, it feels like the field is 68 right now.
Yeah, straight up.
And like the last 3 weeks will get us like the quarters. It really does.
And it's crazy because I mean, like now we're talking like they're splitting hairs on who's gonna get in.
Yeah.
On 1 loss, 2 losses. I mean, shoot, can Colorado sneak in? Is Miami gonna bottom out? I mean, they dropped straight to what, 12 or 11? So I mean, this is a crazy way. I think the committee is gonna be just as complicated as it was when it was the BCS committee on who to pick on the 4 teams. 12 teams look like it doesn't make it any better. People still complaining.
Yeah. But I like it, Left. I like it. And you know what I like the most? Notre Dame is sitting pretty. Notre Dame's like, yeah, all right. We're just going to hang back here.
Just going to hang in there.
In the 9 spot for now. Move up a couple of more spots. We'll let everybody else devour each other.
Yeah, they'll beat each other out, and we'll fall to where we should be, 6 or 5, I think, 6 or 5.
I don't think
I heard everybody's winning. Penn State is that first game. That's messed up. That's what I heard.
Were you as upset about Penn State being ranked that high? I mean, I understood it.
Yeah.
You see, I guess just a college football fan, I understood it. As far as it relates to Notre Dame, I was like, dude, hey, Notre Dame getting to the 5 spot is out of the question. They lost to Northern Illinois. They're not getting there.
You think we're not getting 5 even, but everybody else lost a game.
No. Whoever left, you have to believe whoever won. One of the teams that loses the SEC or the Big Ten tournament championship, they're going to get the 5 slot. They're going to give the 5 slot to one of the teams that lose the championship game. Absolutely. Notre Dame would literally have to go undefeated in order to grab that spot. Moving forward, that's probably what they have to do. Next year's schedule is far more difficult. So a 1-loss Notre Dame team against that schedule next year could very well. There's our boy Bill Left. That's the money maker.
That's the funny thing.
with the fresh fade, fresh fade, the
You got the fresh
uptown,
play, yeah. We had to make sure he got right, man. Couldn't have him out here looking crazy.
the barbershops. How are the barbershops out there in Arizona, bro?
See, the barbershop here in Arizona is few and far between. I end up getting my homeboy who cuts hair. He actually, he actually got us right. And he was good with the kids, man. So shout out to D Scott the barber, man. Gotta plug my guys, man.
Okay, D Scott. We plug you here. You fired, dude, because we've only done Julio cuts with D Scott. So you must be fired. We plug you here on Lucky Lefty. Malik's 3 Keys coming up. Eric Spadell, man, my brother. We appreciate you, man. Shout out to you and your family. What's up, fellas? And LL Nation. I need a link to your DJ, Sean, and go Irish. He is DJ Illa. J Illa, Jayilla.
Yeah, we plug Friday. We just plugging everything.
He is the official DJ for the Chicago Bears. Our relationship goes back to like pre-college, man. Just hanging out on the block. We all were aspiring DJs, like down
at one time or another, right?
Yeah. We all were aspiring DJs. He stuck with it, and he's done an incredible job, man. He's really built his career. He does you come up here, Hyde Park, it's a spot called a promontory. He does a day party.
Oh.
Every other Saturday.
Okay.
The smooth thing he uses the day party to give aspiring DJs an opportunity to because he brings out Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls players. They come to his joints. So now, if you're an aspiring DJ, you get to spin in front of them. Who knows how that absolutely.
Hey, now have you heard of? Now they've been talking about this spot in Chicago called Medley's.
Yeah.
The best wings and best barbecue in Chicago.
I see cats.
No.
Yeah, it can be slow. You see that best stuff. Come on, man. My boy Larry Legend. On Twitter, he just literally put out a tweet yesterday saying this Harold's third still got me in a headlock for over 20 years. I mean, bro, it's
getting ridiculous now.
Saying that you have the best, it's tough.
It's too many stipulations. It sounds like
barbecue is not. No, I take that back. It's some tough spots to beat.
It's some good spots.
The wing spots are super deep. The pizza spots are super deep. The Italian beef spots are super deep. Barbecue, it's a little.
They said the wings are the best wings in the round. The way they smoke them and all that, and I had to ask you because they was hyping it up on the social media. They said you got to stop by Medley's. They got the good brisket and turkey legs and all sort of things.
They spread too thin. About turkey legs and all that. No. Give me spots that focus. Man, I need a central focus to be on wings. That's it. I want your central focus on wings.
On wing, okay. So the spots that are just wings be up there.
That's it. We don't do that, man. I'm over here like Drake. Well, I'm shooting over here. No.
Yeah, no, right?
This is your talent, right? Lucky Lefty. So, Malik's 3 Keys, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, the premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. Tony Elliott, head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers, and it's really good to see this program, especially with what they went through on that campus and within the football program over a year and a half ago, to see them back playing good football right now. So let's talk about, Malik, your 3 keys as the Virginia Cavaliers invade Notre Dame Stadium, 2:30 p.m. Central Time on Saturday. Give us your 3 keys.
Okay, the 3 keys I got are one, we got to start fast. Once again, this is another game where you don't want a team like this to hang around because they do a lot of good things in certain areas. You want to be able to get on it early. So running the ball and getting on them and scoring. I'll say scoring 21 in the first half. I'm going to dock it down from 28 to 21. We scored 21 first half, were a key right there. Second key I would love to see a receiver be the leader in yards. Not Riley, not the running backs. Let's get a receiver leader in yards. And then the last, defensively, I would love to see turnover from our front seven. Can we get a forced fumble? Can we get a pick like we had with Bubakar Traore against Purdue? I would love to see our front seven get a turnover.
That front seven turnover is going to be very key. And Al Golden once again, Al Golden really didn't. I don't know if it was the questions, but he really didn't do the hype job that he normally does for other teams. He didn't do that for Florida State, and they only gave up 3 points. So maybe he's made an adjustment to his his press conference model to get his defense prepared and excited to go up against the opponent. But right now, Notre Dame is sitting at number 8 in the nation, 38.3 points per game. That's crazy, as they only give up 11.1 points per game, which is number 3 in the nation. 412 yards, that only ranks 43rd in the nation. Yards per play has increased over their yards per play, I think, has increased almost close to a yard in a third over the last 4 games. And now that they've climbed into the top 20 as yards per play at 19. We talked about the third down conversion and how that's increased and been over 60% over the last 3 to 4 weeks. They were in the mid 30s, mid to high 30s. Now they're right at 41%. So the offense is coming along and they're climbing, they're putting up points. If they're putting up 38 points, even with the third down percentage being where it is, they're really quick striking teams, right? Not even getting to third down. And then when they get to third down, it's not as much pressure. They're really not going on these traditional Notre Dame 13, 70-yard drives, taking 7-8 minutes off the clock. Notre Dame is really striking.
Well, we have to. I don't think we're built necessarily to work a team down the field just yet. We saw a couple of those drives where we were trying to and got stalled due to the fact of we're getting these pass happy situations where we're throwing more times and we're trying to run, and it doesn't quite mix well, which I would love to see, work out for the long run. I mean, when you talk about closing out drives against better teams, you want to see some drives put together of the 10 plays, 11 plays. But Denbrock's nature is he's just trying to strike fast and vertical. And you got to see a little bit of us attempting to that against Florida State, which just wasn't as successful. But you got such special playmakers on the offense that when in doubt, we either hand it out to a running back and they get a big yard gain, or Riley does his thing when he runs for a touchdown on a terrific make you miss type of run. We have a couple of down the field shots when teams start to play up a lot closer. But it would be nice to see us kind of work some longer drives just to, like you said, kill the time of possession. We want to be able to kill the clock a little bit, especially when we're going against another heavyweight offense like a Miami, for instance. I think Georgia Tech did a great job of stalling Miami due to the fact that they were on the field a good amount of time. And Cam Moore was just sitting over there and then having to play comeback kid a lot, and they ran out of magic. So I think there's styles and ways to really beat teams, and for us to be so good playing ahead of the point total, what do we look like when we need to really stall an offense out on the other side?
Yeah, I think you pointed that out. Styles make fights, styles make football games, and sometimes when there is a talent disparity, I don't think there's a talent disparity for Notre Dame when you look at their total roster, other than maybe Ohio State. If you're just going from a ranking standpoint, recruiting ranking standpoint, maybe Ohio State, maybe Oregon, with what Dan Lanning has been able to do recruiting wise the last 2 years. Notre Dame really has closed the gap. Marcus Freeman really has been a gap closer as a recruiter. And we're going to talk about, before we get to our predictions, we're going to talk about that running back recruit that you love that recently committed after one visit to Notre Dame. We'll talk about
one visit.
Yeah, I have had extensive conversations all week with Antoine Parham, who is going to be taking his decision all the way to National Signing Day. all the way to National Signing Day. I do believe
Is that popular still? I thought that wasn't as popular anymore, doing the wait to the last minute just because everybody wants to go in early
right now we're in
it's
the middle of.
fast.
Well, see, this is the thing. Wouldn't you right now, even if you were flipping, wouldn't you just decommit and save your announcement for National Signing Day? I mean, you're like 2-3 weeks away.
Yeah.
Like, just decommit, open it up, and then do your National Signing Day. Guys are flipping and then committing and then still being recruited. Deuce Knight. I mean,
Deuce Knight. I don't know how. I mean, maybe that's just the quarterback market, what he's doing, but I think that's a very interesting way of teams more so not giving up on their recruiting, even though they commit.
Okay, I think Left stepped away, but no, it is where it is now, ladies and gents. I think we are seeing Notre Dame getting to a point now where I don't think they've ever been, just from a straight up since 2015. I think that 2015 team was far more in line from a talent standpoint at the top of the roster. Now this team is getting to a point where they line up with top teams, even from a depth standpoint, even with all the injuries that they have suffered starting in fall camp, to be at the point where you can say right now that you have no fear facing any of the top teams right now.
None, except maybe Oregon.
Yeah.
I think they play the most complete out of all the teams, and especially ranked above us. IU, but I think we're more talented than IU. I think we will wear on them towards the end. But I want that Penn State game. I want the Texas game.
Man,
I think we would. I think we would be impressive against teams that are ranked above us, especially at BYU. We want those challenges. But at the end of the day, these rankings are still going to change dramatically these last couple of weeks. You got Ohio State, Indiana matchup. You got BYU still got another good matchup later down the road. Penn State has to finish strong. We haven't seen Penn State finish strong because every time they play Ohio State, their year usually
that's the matchup I want. That's the matchup I want. I want Penn State bad.
Everybody want that Penn State matchup.
That's almost like a bye right now. Penn State game. That's what people are looking at, that Penn State game like, oh, that's a bye. That's a bye in the quarterfinals.
That's right.
I would rather face Penn State than Indiana right now. I'm gonna keep it above.
Really?
Yeah, because
you got better coaching.
Cignetti's a better coach.
I think that's just what it is. Yeah.
Oh, that's it.
Their tight end is good at Penn State. I like what they got over there, but
they need to play him at quarterback the entire game.
See, that's telling. If they got to throw him at quarterback all the time, not just like a package. They're throwing him at quarterback anytime it gets tight and it gets close to the end zone.
Yeah.
It's saying a lot.
Yeah, it is saying a lot. So, Malik's pre-snap read also brought to you by ONORA Whiskey. How will Notre Dame come out and attack this Virginia Cavalier defense left? And it is a defense that is giving up 28.4 points a game. That's 79th in the nation. They're giving up a lot of yards, 413 points per game. That puts them at 65th. And yards per play, not better. 84th in the nation at 5.8. But they are good on third down, Left. They're a little bit better than their numbers from a yardage and points per game standpoint. Third down, about 50th in the nation at 41%. But that red zone though, 110th in the nation. If you get to the red zone, you're putting up points against the Virginia Cavaliers because their red zone defense is trash. So
but that's usually what hurts teams in the end, when you can't stop anybody close to the end zone. And also, being good on third down like they are, I mean, I think that presents a unique challenge for our defense to be able to capitalize on, due to the fact that, we've been good at stopping drives, like momentous drives, where they're gaining down the field and then they get to the halfway point and then we're sacking them out of field goal range and they have to punt on like a 4th and 20. So I think Al Golden presents a challenge each and every week for other opposing offenses to really scheme against, and you see their game plan run out by the end of the first, which is a unique thing. Like things that they got to pull out all the stops real early against our defense, and then have nothing in the second half. And now that's when the point total starts to look like what it is, where teams kind of run out of that magic early often. I mean, you saw Florida State had a great first drive, and it didn't capitalize in a touchdown. I think that kind of messed up them psychologically because they felt like, oh, we gave them our best shot, got 3 out of it. So I think early and often, if we can handle those first 10 to 15 plays by each team and not give them a touchdown, I think that leads to greater success in the second half. But also offensively, let's not stall out in the first quarter. I think we do a great job in the first drive, which we've scored, pretty successfully in the first drive. But then after those 3 or 4 drives in the first quarter, second quarter, or beginning of the second quarter, they kind of stall. I think we try to be too cute and try to make, guys stars that are better as complement players. So let's see if we can keep our game plan consistent and not veer off the road too early on. Because second half is all about just wearing on teams and having depth and throwing the ball down the field. I mean, we find a way to tire teams out in the first half. And our second half adjustments offensively and defensively have been something to be impressed by. And I think that's what's been the biggest result on the scoreboard is our second half presence. That's first half presence. We give a lot of teams hope, and I don't think that'll be good against better teams in the playoffs.
Do you think that's what they're doing, Love? I think this team really, I'm going to be honest with you, Love. I think this Notre Dame team is supremely confident, and I'm going to look at it from the other side of the coin, Love. I think they're showing their maturity, that they can handle starting fast or starting slow. We know Notre Dame, if they started slow, that would carry over into the second half. I think this team really knows how to, once they get their hands wrapped around the game, the flow of the game, the tempo of the game, they are not letting the opponent loose from their grasp. They are going to continue like a boa constrictor to tighten and tighten and tighten. And the defense definitely has done that consistently. I think we're starting to see the offense do that, right? Because when you see the offense go to Steve Angeli and the backups, and they're still just hammering you. I don't care about the talent disparity, dude. I don't care. Their mentality of just
it's a mentality, yes.
No matter,
especially when we start seeing those sacks rattle off and the pressure get there, and the quarterback is running for his life. I think we feed off of that and end up having greater success in that second half. But I would love to see the special teams make it even better. Our punt return game is still atrocious to me. I just think it's atrocious. I just think that for us to be so good in many areas, our punt return game is actually really, really bad. I don't know the numbers. I'm sure it's not ranked anywhere close to the top 25. But, man, I would love to see that punt return game help our offense kickstart a little faster on drives instead of pinning us all the way back and we have to climb 80 yards to get a touchdown.
I'll get that stat for you, Left. Let's see.
maybe I'm biased because I really don't think we have a good punt return team. But man, it would be nice to see some more highlights on that.
They're not in the top 75. So
okay, I knew my eyes was not lying to me. Now I knew my eyes were telling me something.
Your eyes are telling you something. Virginia, once again, they don't create turnovers, right? But they're not a heavily penalized team as well, only averaging 5 penalties per game. That's pretty good. But they don't turn you over, and they don't give the ball, or they do give the ball away more than they take it away. So their turnover margin is 75th in the nation? Yeah, and then opponents' penalties per game against them, they're like 117th in the nation. They don't even create penalties on other teams. Incorrectly. I'm sorry. They're 17th in the nation because teams have averaged 7.5 penalties per game against them for an average of 63.5 yards. So that's the one thing. They seem to be disciplined in the area of penalties. They're just not talented enough left. They just don't have.
They just don't have enough. You know, they just don't have enough. And you know, and Chris Tyree is adding some benefit, I'm sure, in some ways. But that's the problem with how teams that are still, I think, heavily top loaded, and then teams that have depth. Depth is the name of the game, I think, in college football moving forward, especially with these playoffs. And if you don't have a second, maybe third unit that can be effective, you just get wore out by teams that have the depth.
They're only averaging 25 points per game, bro. So, yeah, I'm already at 14 points in my prediction.
You already cut that.
Minus 10, I tell you. Whatever you average against this Notre Dame defense, I take 10 off the top.
And right? then if we're beating you by double digits or something ridiculous going into the second half, it's even less. There should be another stat on that. If we're up 2 scores or whatever the case is, it just makes it harder for the opposing offense to score anyway. They start trying things and trying to climb back in the game, and that's where, you know, Al Golden and those magical blitzes and all those things he does comes into effect.
So that's Malik's 3 keys and his pre-snap read, brought to you by ONORA Whiskey. Do we see the Virginia Cavaliers being much of an obstacle or putting up a fight? Yes. I think going to what you said, Lef, you've been through it. I think the emotions, one thing is going to happen, or 2 things are going to happen, shall I say. It's going to be a highly emotional day at kickoff. You talked about that. Parents on the field, players running out, last game in Notre Dame Stadium. Jack Kaiser will break a record as a player at Notre Dame for the most games, most snaps, all types of records. How does Notre Dame respond? Will the leaders lead the way so that the young players can fight through the emotions and the malaise of that and start fast, like you said, right? You don't want to see Tony Elliott scheme things up and be successful. You want Notre Dame to come out defensively and just stymie Virginia right off the bat and just break their will early. That's what we would like to see. The truth of the matter is, when you deal with emotional games like this on a senior day, sometimes it takes a team like Notre Dame a little bit of time to break through the monotony, of the high emotions, and then to come down a little bit off those emotions, and then just to get to the football game itself. So we'll see. GTB question. I got Lilo Galante before we go on to hear from the coordinators. What's you guys' take on the bidding wars for Bryce Underwood, $10.5 million? I believe Bryce Underwood said that posted on his IG last night that he was declining
LSU, which is what is LSU paying? Or I mean, what Brian Kelly got in that sauce over there that he got him head over heels at LSU? So
let me tell you something, man. I don't know if I could pass up 10.5 if that was the highest bid.
10.5. It can't. I don't think it is 10.5 because, I mean, what logical, even in the young, youthful brain of a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 10.5 is big for just a 40-year-old. So I don't know how, what are they promising at LSU?
Doesn't matter, dude. My niece, she just turned 2. She knows 10 is greater than 8. So it's really simple math. But
what would you tell your son? I mean, you still ranked number 1 QB. Where will you put him at?
How would I handle the situation?
10.5 is like no brainer.
I mean, we're laughing about it, but to be honest, just knowing me, I would want my son to go first and foremost, where he's comfortable, where he really wants to go, where he really sees himself. Yeah, but I would definitely sit there and say, all right, son, is you sure? This is 10.5. And 10.5 goes a lot further in Michigan. Let me look at the state taxes here. State taxes. Because I'm assuming it goes a lot further in Michigan. Okay, 6.3 or 6% in Michigan. I wish. Oh man, Illinois is ridiculous. I think it's up to like 11.25 now, something like that. and the city just asked for a tax hike. Okay, so Louisiana's at 4.45. So yeah, his money's going to go a lot further in Louisiana. Maybe it's one of those deals. You know, when you add up the money, the taxes and come into play, maybe his money goes a little bit further. So we'll see, Left. But ultimately, I think Michigan continues to push the envelope all the way up to National Signing Day. I know.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, this 10.5 extends past Michigan. What's that like after taxes? Like what, five something, 6 something? I mean, you could just.
I mean, both schools can say we just put a quarterback in the top 10 picks of the NFL draft. Both schools can say that.
Both schools can say that, yes, sir.
And one school can say, I just called plays for a national championship.
National champion.
It's, you know, if you just look at the talent on the field, like I said, I just listened to LSU podcast all last weekend say they don't know who the number 1 wide receiver is going to be.
They can't find a receiver. And neither can Michigan.
Lacey is gone. That's true. So that's crazy. It really is. Lucky Lefty podcast. All right, let's hear from Marcus Freeman before we get to the coordinators. And Marcus Freeman was talking about Chris Tyree returning. Notre Dame man has his degree, returning on senior day, which is, man, absolutely really amazing. And I hope he gets a lot of love from the Notre Dame faithful. He talks about his return and the game.
That's not a concern of ours. We got a new offensive coordinator, obviously, new signals, new terminology. So I'm not concerned about that, but really respect Chris as a person, as a football player. I'm just glad he's got his Notre Dame degree, and he's a talented football player that we'll have to account for in the special teams battle and also the offensive phase.
And you mentioned what a great atmosphere the night game was. And I'm wondering, as a coach, would you like to see more night games? I realize some years there are more, but not a whole bunch of them. Would you like to see more night games at Notre Dame Stadium, or is the exclusivity of it kind of make it more special?
It's a double-edged sword, as they say. The atmosphere environment is different at night games. We know that. It's just it's a little bit. I don't know if it's the lights, it's the crowd. I don't know what it is. It's electric, but there's also a cost on the back end of that, right? And maybe it's that. I don't know if anybody can see what you just did, but maybe it's that. But the back end of that, man, is the lack of rest, right? You lose the valuable sleep and recovery that you need post game on Saturdays, especially a night away game, but even at home. And I think our players, obviously, Sunday they have their day off, so they can try to recover a little bit. But coaches, we're up and we're at it. We got to go. And so that's the cost of having some of those electric games at night. But again, if Pete wants to schedule more night games, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it too. I need at least 2 per year. 2.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Freeman was a part of the year we had every game. What was it? Sam Hartman's year. Every game was night game.
Yeah, they did. Ohio State, the Duke, the Louisville. Yeah,
every single.
And that was tough because 2 of those 3 were on the road. Now I'm all for if they can find a way to have a home game after the home night game.
Yeah.
To whereas they don't have to go on the road and take away from preparation, and guys can sleep in their own beds. So they get the night game packaged with the front end of a back-to-back home games. I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
But then again, you got to think, these still are kids. You soar a little bit, but this is not like the pros where you're like, oh, I'm 35 or 29, 30, where I'm really got to reset myself, and take some time off. And plus it's not back-to-backs like it's basketball or something. So I think having those night games are more significant for recruiting and like you said, the specialness under the lights at Notre Dame is a little different. As a little bit of an intimidation factor, I think, to other teams when they're coming to Notre Dame Stadium at night, and we get a little bit more rowdy. It's not as friendly. So there's some benefits to it. You know, we do the light show and all of that. We even had a artist performing. I mean, we do a lot of different things at night. I think adds to the mystique of Notre Dame, if that's what we're looking for, a mystique factor. But you know, I would love our playoff game to be at night. You know, I think that would add a challenge to it as well.
I think Notre Dame, looking at the schedule for next year, they have a game to add. They have 11 scheduled. I do believe that Texas A&M game will be at night. I would expect that the second game of the year to be at night. That might end up being back-to-back night games because the Miami game, week 1 on August 30th down in Miami, might be a night game as well.
They always give us Miami at night. We never play Miami during the day.
You're right. That's true.
Maybe that's, I don't know what that's attributed to, but I mean, we've always played that game at night. Even when we played Brandon and Ian, that was a night game.
And then
didn't turn out well for us.
I think they probably play Texas A&M and USC at night, because USC is usually at night at home as well. And that USC would be the middle game in 3 consecutive games at home. Boise State at home.
When are we going to stop treating USC as if they're this somehow Goliath that we go against every year, when we just end up making them look like a regular team?
Well, you know, it's the rivalry. We just show them love in the rivalry. We show them love in the rivalry. It's kind of like the Yankees and how they treat the Red Sox. Like, it's a rivalry. You have 2 championships. We have 27. It's not like the Lakers and Celtics where they're both like right there at 17, 18, battling back and forth. We know what it is. You know, in the present tense, we know Notre Dame has dominated that series. And the way, dude, you talking about, I don't know what's happening with Lincoln Riley. Their recruiting class is leaking bad.
Yeah.
Bad. They are losing recruits at a crazy rate.
Well, we lost a running back, right? And gained a running back?
Well,
something like that. We lost one, gained one, or something like or we gained a transfer or something like that.
We didn't. If technically he decommitted.
That's what I read. That he decommitted, but he wasn't quite offered. Or
no, we weren't mad that he decommitted. I'll put it like that.
Was it like the one where he had brought his family up and decommitted, and Marcus Freeman had to talk to him on the side? Like,
no one was like upset that the young man decommitted, Daniel Anderson, which his commitment, injury is really playing a big part in that. He had a lot of leg injuries going into his senior year, junior to his senior year, and just really never recovered. And
I mean, that Dina McCullough offer has a lot of weight out there. That's not no regular, offer to just, I don't know, play with or run with. That's something serious now.
Yeah, that it's really it's tough, right? Because I can imagine a kid, you get the offer from Notre Dame, you commit, and usually, even if you're entering the high school programs, will stick to their commitment.
Not now. Hell, not with all the transfers and porting. No. Well, Marcus Freeman wasn't doing that before.
He said, "Not now." Left's like, "No, not now."
We move too fast. This thing moves way too fast to be just honoring things up until that date. If you got a lot of things going on, unfortunately, but that's just the nature of the beast right now.
Yeah, it really is. So, Left. Recruiting is something else. I'll just leave it at that. Speaking of running backs, Marcus Freeman talked about, and I want to get your thoughts on this, Left. Notre Dame playing 4 or 5 running backs consistently and finding a way and time to do it. Coach, how do you do it?
Huge. It's been great. Coach McCullough does a great job of getting those guys in that room to buy into. There is not just one guy, right? We need the entire unit. He does a great job of establishing plays or series for certain guys, but also keeping them all involved. And to do that, you got to continue to establish that mindset of team glory. Like whatever it takes for us to achieve the outcome that we want, I'm willing to do that. And it's tough, man, when everything outside of our building a lot of times is about individual glory, right? About individual recognition. But really credit goes to Coach McCullough, those guys in that room that put team first. And it keeps them, every hit they don't have to take is an added hit they can take as the season goes on. And so it keeps them fresh. I think their skill sets, right? As you look back to Aldrich in that room last year to this year, like, the skill sets of those guys are different, and it's something that a defense has to account for.
Well, I think it's very nice to say that for running backs. Oh, you're not taking a lot of hits, this, that, and the third. But we've been very accustomed to doing that. Very accustomed. You see Josh Adams have 15,000 carries. CJ had 15,000 carries.
Man,
so
you better answer Lil Left, man. Answer him. It's okay. The fans can wait. What's up, Lil Left? That's right. Demand your time. Demand your time.
But yeah, the carries have been great to say. But at the end of the day, I'm sure Jeremiah Love wants to be recognized as a number one back in college football, have the 1,000, 1,500 yards or whatever the case is. I mean, you still want that glory. I know he talked about out of the building. In the building wants the same success. I mean, let's not put past that.
Yeah, I agree, Left. I think that is even more nuanced. I'll say it this way. Forget the physical. Forget the physical and saving their legs and saving their bodies. I just think it gets your young players. I'll point to Washington. I forget the kid's name, Left. You know him because you actually saw him play in high school. The running back that transferred from Mississippi State, running back for Washington last year, who was a huge part of their offense, to counter defenses and the way they defended the pass game of Washington. And when he got injured, he literally got injured on the game-winning run that got a first down and gave Washington the ability to run the clock out against Texas. He twisted his ankle, wasn't right in that championship game, and Michigan's defense just teed off on Washington and Michael Penix because they weren't threatening the run game and the backups just weren't ready. This is why I love what Dylan McCullough does, besides the fact that it saves their legs and their body from punishment. Aeneas Williams would be ready. Jadarian Price would be ready. Keydron Young might be the only one that won't really have game reps to the level of everyone else. But, he's been in a game before. So Notre Dame will have 4 running backs that are big game ready for the moment, and have been put into just about every moment during the season. So if something does happen during a playoff run, hey, let's go. And I think that is the biggest benefit long-term for Dylan McCullough and the program, that they're not one of these teams that if they lose that starting running back, they're going to be just devastated from production standpoint. Now, you don't want to lose anybody. You definitely don't want to lose Jeremiah Love. But the depth in the running back room definitely proves that you want to keep the party going, and they have the depth and talent to do that. And Marcus Freeman is right. It's been impressive. It's been impressive because it's grown. It really has grown. It was literally just Logan Diggs and Aldrich Estime 2 seasons ago, right? Remember, Aldrich had the fumble problems. Logan had to carry the ball something like 35 times at a home game, which is crazy. He had a great game. And then it was Logan and Aldrich when it went up against Clemson, and they just dominated Clemson in the run game. But then you lose Logan Diggs in the portal. Aldrich comes back, but then Jabron Payne comes on last year. Very versatile, good third down back, one of the best blocking running backs in the room, even at his diminutive size. And then you take on the freshman that came in, Jadarian Price, coming back from his injury. This running back room is really deep and has a chance to really make an impact as this offensive line improves. That's how I see it. Marcus Freeman talking about the standard that has been established.
Early in the season, it's not mapped out much. You kind of just, it depends on the flow of the game. But I think as you get season, you do have discussions on guys that have played 3 games, the young guys, right, that have played 3 games. And, hey, if we have an opportunity to put some backups in, would we put this guy in the game, right? And that's kind of the only discussions we have. You just never know how the game's going to go, right? And so I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about, hey, if we're up by this many points, who's going in? But that's where we have that discussion really more than anything is with freshmen. I hope our players maybe that aren't starting understand that, at any moment you can be put into the game. And I think what we have to do as coaches, the greatest compliment, they might not like it, the greatest compliment we can give those guys that go in a game is to hold them to the standard that we hold anybody to. Like, we can't make excuses for guys that are backups or guys that maybe don't practice as much with the older guys for their play. Like, we hold them to a high standard, the same standard we hold the starters to. And I hope, maybe not in the moment because it's never fun to, get challenged and, maybe criticize at times, but I hope they look back and appreciate that they're held to the same standard as the starters.
And that's great that we're able to do that. A lot of teams aren't able to rotate 4 or 5 guys at a time and still be effective. So for us to have the ability to do that is tremendous. And it's something that I guess running backs are going to have to understand when they're getting recruited by Notre Dame, is that even if you're the best recruit in the country, you'll be splitting time. Yeah. And the benefit is, it saves your legs and, make them count and be efficient and all of that. But, even in NFL, there's not a lot of one-back systems where they're just completely just dominated by one guy. You don't find too many teams like that. Now, the ones that you do happen to be, the Saquons and you have your special guys. But, that does work for Notre Dame. And I think that goes to the bigger point of us being a team that you got to find a role. This isn't just a one-man show type of situation at Notre Dame, which recruits have to understand. I'm sure that affects some of our recruiting to an extent where some guys want to get the ball a lot and this, that, and the third, because it's a mix between everybody wants to have their brand, and they want to be the man and they want a certain amount of touches and this and that you see in high school and little league coming up. Notre Dame is you'll get your touches, but because we're on national TV every week, because you're on a winning team that's winning 11, 12 games a year, because you're in the spotlight so much, the carries you do get count. NFL guys see that and to see us still get drafted high, that's the only thing that it all will make sense. Jeremiah Love still goes first round on a half the carries that the next back gets going into the league. Now, Kyron's situation was a little different considering where we were as a team, where it made sense and he was able to handle it. Hell, a lot of running backs ain't even able to handle that. And you even see Kyron doing it at the next level. Now, is that going to be something that's a 5 to 6 year span? Probably not. I think they're trying to get the most out of Kyron's youthfulness at the Rams right now. We won't see that.
Oh, that's the NFL, right? We're going to get everything out of you and just get rid of you.
We're going to see the same Kyron with the Rams 3 years from now? Probably not. But the time he is getting able to do it, he's able to do it at a high level. And shout out to Kyron Williams being built for it. And I think a lot of that's coming from Notre Dame being healthy enough to handle those amount of carries and those impactful games that he's been able to make. Notre Dame situation, Jeremiah Love's in a great situation because the things that he's able to do with the limited carries, but also the things that he has as mistakes, dropping the football is memorable. Now it's memorable because he don't get 1,000 catches a season. He's getting those couple catches where it's like, damn, remember you dropped that one because you just remember because it's limited. But still, I think the usefulness of our backs have been tremendous. And for all of our backs to be useful and still not be carry the ball more than our quarterback is an interesting dynamic, But I think at the end of the day, having that many backs useful, I think it adds a layer of difficulty for a team to prepare for because they're like, well, we don't know who's going to get more carries this particular day. Is it Jadarian? Is it Jeremiah Love? How much they using Aeneas Williams? Or do we have to worry about a Keedron Young getting some carries here and there in different parts of the field?
Mhm.
I do think we figured out the running back aspect. That's just because we have a great team around that we don't depend all our chips on the running back like we used to. I mean, hell, we had Dex, Josh, Tarian, and a bunch of guys, and we were using one at a time. Now we've seemed to kind of figure that out, how we use them all together.
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast. I agree, Left. I just think it pays dividends for the program and the young men down the road as they matriculate to the NFL, but they have a little bit more left in the tank than your average running back.
And I think Coach Vic's right. We won't see a Doak Walker or a Heisman out of that back because we do so much of a rotation. But I think the benefit is you stay healthy and you get drafted. Maybe not first, second round. I mean, Aldridge went what, third, fourth?
But that doesn't really mean, the Doak Walker used to mean a lot nationally. The national awards meant a lot, and it meant a lot when it came to where you were drafted, right?
Yeah.
Now, so many scouts, so many resources, film.
That Ashton Genty, I mean, even him, he's a first round back, but I don't think that's a trend that's going to happen in college football where he's getting.
But who in that running back room is close to Ashton Genty at Boise State? By the way, who comes to Notre Dame next year to take a smackdown? But
smackdown, like, come on,
but no, literally, like someone said, Jadarian needs more carries. Like, all right, like where?
That's the thing, where? Because not only are you needing more carries, you're splitting it between the quarterback who's getting a dominant share of
another reason. And your quarterback is taking 8 to 10 carries a game
easily, and then he's running on his own. So
those are the extra carries that usually go to your running backs. They're being given to your quarterback to get him lathered up and into the game and to allow him to be at 100% efficiency and useful with his talents and his gifts. That's where it is. So you might see the running back room get more carries and opportunities next year.
Oh, for sure. With Riley not being there, we'll see how it evens out. But I mean, still, particularly this year, this is a great year to save your legs due to the quarterback being a running back.
Yeah.
And then next year, we'll see how it impacts the running back room. We're more relied on if we have more of a Steve type. But hell, the quarterbacks we got bringing in outside of CJ Carr can run a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast. Let's go to Al Golden. And Al Golden talked about the defensive line, the depth, the youngsters stepping up. With Howard Cross not available for the Virginia Cavalier game, you're going to see Sean Sevillano, Armel Mookum, and a lot of youngsters get opportunities. Notre Dame fans, I'm sure you're excited to see those young guys play. Marcus Freeman, just a week before, leading into Florida State, said they're the best defensive line scout team he's ever coached.
Do they win an award for that? Is there an award for that?
Al Golden talking about his D-line.
There's not really a discussion upstairs or downstairs about, so-and-so's not playing. It's just, all right, who's up and what do we have to do? So Coach Wash does a great job. I think the players themselves understand that this is part of the game. Attrition is part of the game. And yes, it's been unfortunate. We feel badly for those that have endured an injury. But at the end of the day, this game waits for no one. And we're on a clock. We had early downs today. Guys stepped up. We got guys maybe moving around a little bit, playing a little bit more, playing a little bit different position, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, there's only one standard here, and that's the standard we're measured against. So they understand that, and Wash does a great job with them, and now they have to respond against a team that really knows how to run the football well in Virginia.
One of those guys that stepped up is Bryce Young. Can you just tell us a little bit about what's allowed him to be able to jump in so quickly as a young player?
Yeah, I think he was hitting the wall there, before the first bye, and then Navy, right, which is really difficult. It was a lot for him. And I think since then he's really settled in nicely, and he works hard at it. His effort is relentless on the field. He finishes really well. He does that every day in practice, and he's growing, he's learning, and he's becoming more dependable. And he's just got to stay in the book, just keep eliminating the little defects here and there. But we're excited about his growth and the maturity and what he brings to our defense.
Now, how much of this is attributed to the fact we don't have necessarily the 5 stars down the line where they need the playing time, where they just that much of an impact where you can't take them off the field? I think it's a nice mix of good talent, but none of them are necessarily better than the other. Like
which would you rather have, though? See, that's an interesting question.
Yeah,
because one could say for the long regular season, I would much rather have the built-out depth.
I'll take Will Anderson quick.
No, what I'm saying, for one game in the playoffs, for a playoff run, give me that
Will Anderson, man.
Yeah. Give me that dude. Give me that dude. Give me that dude.
I'll take a Chase Young, a Will Anderson, a Bosa.
I understand.
I understand. If we're talking about winning championships, I need one. I need winning by committee. I think we're reinventing and getting that idea kind of being popularized by we can win by a committee. We got a bunch of guys flying at you, but I think is when it comes to those special plays are reserved for special players. Now it doesn't matter now because of who we're playing. Virginia, the whole D-line can look special. But when we're playing a Texas, a Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, I think we're going to need that Will Anderson type. That one player that's like, we need a sack right here. We just need one. I don't know, I don't know if I can name one on our D line right now, where I can just say, okay, Bryce Young's gonna get it for us, or Jordan Botelho's gonna do it for us, or Boubacar Traore, who has been special in his short time.
Before he got injured,
he was on his way. Yeah. But even still, it's not a large enough sample size to be like, okay, we're gonna unleash that dog and get us some production. So I don't think it matters now, especially these last 3 games. Everybody's been flying around doing well. But we'll know if this depth and this rotation and this playing everybody method works when it gets to those times when it's very serious. Because if it doesn't work, what is our go-to then? What is our go-to then? Do we continue to just play well and get to the playoffs and then lose because we don't have that special player that Alabama's always had? Georgia's always had a couple special ones. Hell, when Clemson was winning, they had a couple special ones. When Ohio State won, they had a couple special ones. So it's what is going to be that call for us? Are we going to run through this whole schedule as a committee? Or I think football still requires there's certain players, just like the NBA. LeBron still voted as the second best player in the world right now. Now, how that attributes to the playoffs, it matters. It matters. But for us, who's our bona fide?
It does matter because he's not the same Bron. So he's you're right.
He's just averaging 24 like it's nothing. He's just averaging 24 like it's nothing.
He ain't putting up that 31, 32 like he was about 4 years ago. So like I said, he's not the same Bron.
But even the Bron against Golden State, that was a different Bron. He was leading the team in every category, and it was ridiculous. But those are a different type of. So I just wonder if we can take.
I think Jokic is starting to decline a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, it's funny because he was never athletically gifted to where it's like he's flying around.
To be able to do it
night in, night out.
Not so much night in, night out. To be able to do that in the playoffs. You have great players take it to a whole nother level in the playoffs.
Who can we depend on in that whole nother level right now?
With all due respect, that's what I don't know if Bron can do that anymore. I don't know if he can do that.
Not by himself.
No.
That's why we keep trying to plug Anthony Davis, your boy from Chicago, all the time. He be disappearing on us sometimes. But if he can support Bron in those playoff situations, not always be hurt, always coming up with these games where you're like, where'd you go? What happened to you? Then
look at his stats this year. Wait a minute.
This year, yeah, but we ain't in playoffs yet.
We played the most games he's played in the last 5 years last year. What are we talking about?
We need him to play a little bit better, though. We need him to play a little bit better. But you're absolutely right. There's special players that take their game to the next level. We need a next level player now.
Always pass the buck, boy. You made a good point, though.
But shout out to Cleveland. Cleveland's still undefeated. Your Bulls almost had them. Your Bulls almost had the Cavs a couple days ago.
We got Tibbs, though. We got Tibbs in the Knicks the other night. We got Tibbs in the Knicks the other night.
That's right. That's right. So
I had a chance to watch it because it was on NBA TV. That's the only reason I got a chance to watch it.
Yeah, heck yeah. They in games. They competitive.
They blew a 19-point lead in the third quarter, but
that sounds about right. That sounds about bullish.
Take it the way you can get it. You know, I still say trade Zach, trade everybody, and go get Cooper Flag. But that's where I'm at.
Cooper Flag, he doing. I mean, he ain't. I don't know if he's a superstar.
You need to go watch that Kentucky game. Relax now.
The Kentucky game was good. Okay, the Kentucky game was good.
Relax now. Relax. You're about to say something real wild. We still don't know. You're right. We don't know who he's going to be.
My boy from Dayton is leading the nation in threes. What about that? We didn't talk about that. That was number one. That was number one recruit in transfer portal too, by the way. Kid from Dayton. I'm just saying. He got that nice. But that's a whole nother story. He's servicing Kentucky Wildcats very well. But for Notre Dame, I just wonder. Yes, Jeremiah Love's a special player, but who is that bona fide guy that we can flip the switch on and can make those plays against the teams when it matters? That's what I wonder.
It's probably going to be Bryce Young next year.
Yeah, because he's got that.
I think him and Traore next year, you won't have that problem.
With Lil Botello?
I don't foresee you having that problem. I don't. And Logan Thomas in his second year.
Yeah.
Next year coming off that edge.
I need to see it. Can we? Because we haven't had one. I mean, Fauci counted, but
the best combo. Who's the best combo we had? Both ends coming off the edge. Probably
it was Tuitt and whoever was on the other side.
I don't know.
Tuitt and Shimbo.
Tuitt was more interior though.
He played a little bit outside. I mean,
he wasn't a pure edge. He was situational. I'm talking about just pure edges. Probably Julian Aguara and Khalid. Yeah. Aguara and Kareem. That was a formidable edge combination. Who was the other
what do you consider because we've always been good, but is any better than the other, or we just been able to sustain the consistency? You know,
they were better their junior year than they were their senior year. That combination. Who played the edge of the team?
See, if it was really that impactful, it would be standing out. We wouldn't have to be like, who was? Was it?
No, who played the edge for you all in 15?
In 15, it was Romeo.
It was Romeo.
Who was next to Sheldon? Whoever was next to Sheldon. Damn.
You guys had a devastating combo either at the edge.
We had guys. We had guys. But it goes. I mean, that's like we're talking about right now. We got guys. Got a bunch of guys. I think. God, it's killing me. I don't really know.
Your boy Doug Randolph dunking on cats. He was on the squad.
Man, it's a shame him and Michael Deeb never got that panned out effect, because I mean these are great athletes. Michael Deeb's doing his thing for the banana baseball team or whatever you call that, and Doug's just been Doug was special. He just maybe was not the right system or bad luck, but man, Doug had it. Doug had it for sure. Like you said, I mean,
Matuska was hurt a lot too.
Matuska was hurt a lot.
Jacob was hurt a lot. Isaac Rochelle played a little in.
Isaac was solid.
Grant Blankenship was injured. You guys had a lot of injuries, man.
Yeah, I can't really. But when you say dominant, I mean the only person that was individually a standout was Foster.
Trombetti was a youngster on that squad, right?
Trombetti was solid, but he didn't get enough time in the game. He was a rotating player. We've really been a rotating squad in that D-line area, especially with Elston. You think of Jerry, but Jerry's inside, and Jerry was probably the most noticeably dominant guy next to him and Sheldon. Like I said, even Julian was a rotating guy.
No, you guys were really thin on the edge. Most of these guys were interior. Jerry was interior. Michael Treadway was interior.
Treadway's interior.
Big Pete was interior.
Big Pete interior, yeah.
Jerron, Jay Hayes was interior.
Hayes is interior, yeah.
Sheldon, Isaac was a hybrid.
Hybrid.
Yeah, you guys, man.
That's what I'm saying. Committee.
Yeah.
But that always hurt us in the end, being a committee. And that's just a historical thing. It's not so much that we can't do it, but historically, we've always kind of been a rotating D-line in a sense where no one has been able to be overwhelming like an Aaron Lynch was when in his young career at Notre Dame, where he was getting rattling off sack after sack. Yeah. So that was huge, but that also got us to the championship. So it's just one of those things where the formula is the formula. I think Alabama's had where they lacking the success is having a dominant edge, a Will Anderson, Dallas Turner kind of combination.
Yeah.
Hell, it's affecting Georgia in a sense, even though I like those two guys, but they're not as consistent as the guys they had with a Nolan Smith and a Jordan Reed and all those guys they had where they were. I mean, Clemson had most success.
Chicago Bears fans, you still like Darnell Wright over Jalen Carter in the draft? We still rocking with that? That was the right move. Oh, we need our right tackle. Jalen Carter, he's going to be a bust. Remember that? Remember all
Jalen
that?
Carter's out there performing. You see him yesterday?
Yeah, I saw him yesterday. Yeah. Let's go take the overrated right tackle when we need a left tackle from Tennessee. Let's go
from Tennessee. Yeah, from Tennessee. Oh goodness. Yeah. Man, so
Mike Denbrock.
I think the formula is the formula, man. When Clemson had the 4 D-line All-American, they made the championship. It just is like a formula for success. So us not having that, not that we're not good, but it does concern me when you're going against an Oregon because you need that standout player. I just think that's just what college football is made of. That's what gets you over the hump. Ohio State hadn't had that since Chase Young, and look at Ohio State. Haven't been close to sniffing that championship. So, or at least helping Ryan Day win them big games that he needs to. So, I mean, it's something to ponder on. But maybe this is the year where team success wins that championship. Because, hell, Michigan they got a couple D linemen that are first round, last year and this year.
On the interior.
They had an Aiden
Hutchinson on the interior. Aiden Hutchinson, that was like, what, 3 years ago?
3 years ago. I mean,
and they had the Ojaba.
They got drafted. I mean, come on. I mean, they also won a championship. So
they didn't win with them.
They beat Ohio State, which is
Yeah, they started dominating Ohio State with the edges. I agree with you. Mike Denbrock talked about what's getting better offensively. Are you simplifying things?
I don't know that we're simplifying anything. I think it's more, repetition and having an opportunity to kind of dig more and more and more as we go into the details. We got a lot of new faces on the offensive side of the ball, and it's not surprising that it's taken a little bit of time for those to kind of mesh together and gel together and come together. But I think we're making progress every week, and I think we made some more progress last weekend.
Where's Mitch Evans from August to right now?
Confident. playing really, really solid football, both in the passing game and the running game. And I think it's been a little bit of a journey for him to gain that confidence, to feel like his old self. And it was great on Saturday to see. He's put a lot of work in, and it was great on Saturday to see him rewarded for what he's put into getting back to full strength and full speed and playing that way.
Yeah, I think that within itself is simplification. He can overtalk it. They have simplified things offensively. Not only have they simplified things, there was a need to simplify things because you have to do what makes and allows Riley Leonard to play at his best on a consistent basis. And as he plays at his best, then everybody else can kind of get in line with what he's doing. The reads are more simple. The schemes are more simple. And things are starting to open up because he's executing at a higher rate. And not only that, the offensive line is protecting at a higher rate, which gives him the ability to execute better. All things are working together for the good as far as Notre Dame's offense. So to say it's being simplified, you can say that. But more than that, they're executing more efficiently in all areas than they were previously. And that's the most important thing for this offense.
Is that me?
Yeah, you dropped on your own, bro. I don't know what happened. You just dropped off the screen. Now you're frozen. I don't. But Left will be right back in Lucky Lefty podcast. Let's get to one more from Mike Denbrock talking about just senior day and the emotions of it.
Starts with having really talented players, and we didn't have a lot of experience there, but we knew we had some guys that were going to continue to get better and gel together. And then you combine that with an offensive line coach and Coach Rudolph that does an unbelievable job teaching the fundamentals and helping put those guys in position, and it's a recipe for continued improvement, and we like where that group's headed.
A healthy Mitch Evans that you just talked about, how can he expand what you're doing on offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think it opens up some extra avenues for us, obviously, and it was nice to see him and Riley during the game Saturday kind of gain more and more of a connection, and that's what it's going to take for that kind of to help elevate that position in particular and provide more opportunities for him and the rest of the tight ends.
And then 10 games in, what have you kind of learned about Jaden Greathouse?
Just that he is who I thought he was, which is a really good football player who does his job every snap, is a unbelievable teammate, digs into the work on the practice field necessary to continue to improve, and I wouldn't want to be doing this without him.
Got one more? We good?
I got one more.
Yep.
This is your first group of seniors since being back at Notre Dame. Is there any particular player on the offensive side of the ball that you have grown a close relationship with?
Well, I hope all of them. But, I mean, I think more than anything, it's just an opportunity for us to honor those guys. And obviously that's going to happen. A great deal of that's going to happen on Saturday with ceremony and announcements and different things like that. But the best way that as a football staff and as a football program, we honor the guys, prepare ourselves this week the right way, and make sure we send them out on senior day the way they deserve to be for all the hard work and dedication that they've given to the University of Notre Dame.
I wanted to talk about the last thing with his offense getting simpler, and I think I agree with Denbrock when he talks about his confidence. And, the more reps you take, the more confidence you get. And at the same time, the less simple you want to be. I think the more detailed and intricate you are, the better off you are offensively. And I think what we've repeated and done in practice over and over again has gotten better. So I don't think we've simplified things, because every week we're seeing something nuanced. We're seeing something a little different from the offense. What we looked like in Purdue, we didn't look like last week. We didn't look like the week before. So I think being able to adjust week to week and add different elements has helped our offense, but guys are getting more confident with each other, having a little bit more faith and Riley Leonard, the faces they made before the first bye week and the faces they make after the bye week, and seeing the success we've had, even the point total has shown that, yeah, we've settled into what we can do well. And it's just about expanding those roles and being more efficient and impactful in doing that. And I think we've done a better job. Are we perfect, or are we close to where we want to be? Probably not. I mean, every week we're complaining. I'm complaining about little things, right? Are those little things going to, in my opinion, those little things can weigh in against teams that are better? Because right now, like we've said before the season even started, that Riley Leonard is going to have a successful regular season because of who we played. Now, has he taken off as fast as probably we've expected? No. But we know that the success that he has is what it is. I mean, we're playing teams we can beat with anybody at quarterback. But are these little mistakes going to matter when we're playing a Penn State, a Georgia, a Texas, a Miami, Ohio State? Those are questions that we have to answer when we get there. But I think for Denbrock being more comfortable himself in calling the plays. Hell, before we didn't know what he was trying to call. Now we at least get the sense that we can see what he's trying to do and what we're successful at, and he's going back to it, and the guys are responding well to it. So, yeah, those things are making a big difference in the outcome on the scoreboard, and just with guys being more personally involved and excited to be there. Before it was tough to see who was excited to be on the offense. Now we're starting to see guys wanting to join in and have a lot more success between each other.
Lucky Lefty podcast. When we come back, we'll get to Nolan James, the new running back in the 2025 class who committed after visiting for the Florida State game. He's the teammate of 2025 wide receiver commit Elijah Burris.
There we go.
We'll get a little backstory on that. And then we're going to give our game predictions and talk about the big matchups of the weekend. Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different.
What's up, family? The merch shop is finally here. Lucky Lefty Network merch shop. We got it all. From the shirts to the hoodies to the hats to the nitty gritties. Come here right now. Shop with us. Come get the swag, because if anything else, we spin it different. You see the gritty. You see how we get down. It's elite.
It's only up from here. Let's get busy.
Lucky Lefty podcast. ONORA boys, Malik, ZAIRE, Sean Davis. ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com, TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Subscribe on YouTube, Lucky Lefty Network. Hit the thumbs up. Leave your comments, questions. We respond to all audio edibles each and every day. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network for the Lucky Legends podcast and the Players Only podcast. Home of the misguided passion. Forever committed to making sure that we spin it
different.
Left. It's amazing, right? So we have Sunday dinner each and every Sunday. So this Sunday is my Sunday, right?
Oh, you cooking, you getting down.
Yeah. So some people try to throw a little dig at me, man. My sister tried to throw a little dig at me. Because I guess, because my brother, he can't eat anything but fish and chicken, right?
Oh, okay. So he don't do no beef ribs.
He had, gout. He has gout issues that it flare up. So, he has to stay away.
We're serious now.
Yeah, man, you have to tell me. And
they're like, you can't make no fish and chicken that good, son.
This is what's hard, Left. Like the rotation is deep. Now we have a deep cooking rotation, bro. Right? We have family, then we have extended family. That's part of this thing.
Yeah.
So now this is like 14 weeks before it got back to me.
Oh, okay. So this has been a big rotation.
It's a big rotation.
So it's been a minute since they done had.
It's like the Golden State heyday when they just came in waves. You know what I mean? So, dude, we've had barbecue. We've had soul food. We've had soul hybrid soul, dishes. We've had Italian.
Oh, okay.
We've had just anything you can do. Lamb. We've had everything, bro. So I'm trying to come up
with everything and then some.
So I'm trying to come up with a menu that's like, that's different. Like I'm trying to do something that hasn't been done.
You do gumbo?
No, I do not, because my wife is allergic to seafood, so I cannot do gumbo.
You do a sausage and chicken one, or
I could do a chicken and andouille sausage gumbo.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But I just feel like I would be cheating myself if I don't have crab.
You can't do it to max. You don't want to do it.
I wouldn't tease myself like that. So I said I'm going to do chili with the cornbread. I'm going to do a nice chili with the cornbread and some smoked wings. I'm going to have a nice salad. The missus is going to help me make a salad.
You gonna put the chili in the cornbread, or just the cornbread on the side?
No, cornbread on the side. You make a nice little cornbread on the side.
Okay. Yeah.
Simple. Hasn't been done.
Always add the wings on the side.
You get the fireplace going. Get it very simple. And then have like the condiments. If you want to put some shredded cheese, some oyster crackers, some onions on top, some green
sour cream on the top.
Sour cream. You can do that. Some people might like a little hot sauce. That's fine. That's cool.
Because you gotta give them the options to decorate how they want to. We just want the base and
So we do real chili. We do real chili up here in Chicago.
Is that chili mac?
We don't do that phony Skyline fake. Hyped up chili. We don't do that hyped up Cincinnati, Dayton area chili. We don't do that. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We don't do that fake.
First of all, that's world famous
love,
now.
That fake, world. You know what? It's a lot of world famous trash food. There's a lot of world famous trash food, and Skyline chili would be right in there.
Crazy. How you world famous and trash? I don't even go together.
Yeah, Skyline is trash. I know people from Cincinnati that say Skyline is overrated.
That's because they ate it a lot as a kid.
I just talked to my boy Steve. I went to college with. I caught up with him and my boy Reggie. Shout out to my boy Reginald Hay, who works for KPMG engineering. So he works all over the place. He's in Green Bay now, but right before that, he was in Cincinnati. And dude, people in Cincinnati are like, no, Skyline is.
He said people. See, he tried to make it like it's a bunch of people. It's probably a few.
I guarantee you won't hear somebody from Chicago saying Harold's is trash. I guarantee you that.
Harold's is trash out here.
I said from Chicago. Harold's is trash in Los Angeles. They have Harold's in Los Angeles. It's trash. I don't know what they're doing. But you come to Chicago, no one here would be like, nah. I literally have heard several people from Cincinnati and surrounding areas say Skyline chili is not all that. I'm just saying.
But the Conies are. The Conies are good.
I've heard good things about that. Now, see, I've heard good things. I've heard rave reviews that are consistent. You're right. And what's the other spot? Isn't that like you were telling me about a streetcar spot? Was that like for hot dogs or something?
Like Gold Star. There's something out there. I just can't think of it right now.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Oh, shout out Marion's Pizza. Oh, Marion's Pizza. Oh, Lord. One of the best spots you can go to if you thinking Dayton. Marion's and Casano's Pizza.
It's the crust.
Thin crust. They cut it the right way. They
in the squares. They cut it in the squares.
Cut it in the squares.
Yeah. Respect. Pub style. Respect. Yes. Respect. All respect to that. All respect to that. Nothing but love.
That's right.
I love cuisine all over the world. You know what I mean? Like Ludacris said, we cuisining all over the world.
Cuisining all over the world.
Cuisining all over the world. But yeah, I'm doing the cornbread with the chili. My family, man. See, making chili for my family, man. I can't really do it. You know, I like my chili a little spicy.
Are they a bunch of review artists? They got a bunch of comments, and you can never do it too. They got all these. You like just eat the food at this point. You know?
Yeah, but the biggest reviews are always the desserts, though. You gotta hit. You gotta hit dessert. You cannot miss on the dessert.
Don't miss on the dessert.
They'll deal with you missing like parts of the meal. Parts of the meal, they'll be like, all right, you know, I didn't like this.
Right.
But I went ahead and substituted this. I love my protein. Yeah, so we good. We're good with that, right? Because I remember one Christmas, my mom, dude, I don't know why. My mom like decided to cater in Christmas dinner.
That's blasphemous.
The crib was empty by 7 o'clock. Everybody was headed back home.
I say, you know what? I'm full. I'm about to just head on out.
I'm finding somewhere else to go.
She can't feel too bad because she ain't make it. So it's
yeah, she felt bad though. Because usually, you know, everybody's there till like late.
Yeah, just late. They just hanging around. They just eating off of it after the second, third plate. You know,
not this rip. She learned a lesson though. She learned a lesson.
Hey, you know that's good that your family's honest about it. They ain't just eating it and
honest. Let us know in the chat. Is your family, everybody in the chat, let us know. Are your families honest?
Not every family's honest. They'll stick there and look at the smiles and eat little spoonfuls.
My sister has gotten a lot better in the last year. She's gotten a lot better. She asked my mom to help teach her how to cook.
Okay, she's trying to get the grandma recipes.
Yeah, for the longest, she used to be like, "Man, my world famous broccoli," and we used to be like, "Wait, hold on,
wait,
hold on. What do you mean?
Ain't nothing famous about no broccoli.
It's the way I season it." I said, "Baby sis,
season it."
I said,
broccoli?
"Baby sis, that's not getting it."
No, that's not getting it.
She went on. She started doing the cornbread from scratch, like my mom taught her.
See, that's a staple.
The first couple of times it was, but you know, we encouraged her. We're like, this ain't it.
Oh, y'all told her that?
Yeah, we absolutely told her the truth. Oh man, my baby brother is brutal.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, my baby brother.
Y'all worse than Chef Ramsay out there. Yeah.
My youngest brother is brutal. J-Rock is brutal. Man. He was like,
I ain't wasting time. I ain't wasting
the bottom of your cornbread looking like a hockey puck. Like, come on. She had to learn. But now she has it down pat. She really does.
So the criticism has made it a better product at the end of the day.
You have to go through the fire to get better. Yes. You have to go through the gauntlet.
Okay.
You have to go through the Davis palette gauntlet to get better as a cook. Yes.
To get better as a cook.
Yes. You have to be able to be transparent with people and let them know. Dude, we tell our mom, what did you do?
That's the first thing. When you get that, you know you're on the bad review track. What did you put in it this time?
Yes, this doesn't taste the same. I told you she tried to sneak a new sweet potato pie recipe last month.
And you could tell.
Immediately, all of us were like, "No, what's this?" She was like, "Oh, I tried instead of my condensed milk, I tried the creamer." I was like, "No,
go back."
The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie.
Well, that's good that y'all can be honest, because I know some people get real upset. You know, they criticize they cooking like that.
Wait, my mom is the worst. My mom is her line is it's good, but it's not mine. That's her line. That's her line for everything, dude. I don't care how fire it is. It's good, but it's not mine. And it's like, dude.
No way. That's a good way of putting it, though. It's good. It's just not the way.
Yeah. She's mad though because my brother makes macaroni and cheese better than her.
Really? See, she don't do the roux. She
does it. He's just better. He's just better at it. Because he started doing mac and cheese. My brother would get up in high school. He played football. My brother would get up in high school and cook 2 steaks at like midnight.
Oh, he just trying to get full. He's trying to just eat whatever.
Yeah, just eat. Just cook 2 porterhouse steaks middle of the night. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with you?
You over there putting the butter on top of it after he cooked
Oh,
it down, and
Oh yeah. Yo, by the way, that first episode of Yellowstone,
Yellowstone. What's that on?
caught me off guard. Paramount.
Oh,
So
okay.
Paramount. So Paramount.
That's like Cross on Prime. The Black Detective Cross. It's a new one.
No, Yellowstone is like cowboys. It's
Oh, you like the westerns?
it's like Dallas back in the day, but it's not in Texas. It's in Wyoming.
Oh,
Cutthroat, straight cutthroat.
Okay,
Man, cutthroat. That first episode of this new season was bonkers, dude.
Okay,
that penguin season finale.
So you said the Penguins shouldn't have another season to it. It was good how it was. Like it was.
It's dope. That penguin was on, man.
It's on point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm on my second episode of Penguin. I like it. It's definitely
that penguin is fire. Yeah. But this Yellowstone, I think it's about to be buck wild. Because that first episode, I was like, oh snap. Okay. This is where you're taking us. Let's go. Lucky Lefty podcast. So Nolan James, 2025 running back. He was originally committed to Boston College. Comes on a visit to Notre Dame. Backstory, of course, he's a teammate of Elijah Burris. Of course, Notre Dame keeping up with Elijah Burris, going to see one of his games. Hey, who is this running back they got, bro? He's kind of nice. Oh, he's committed. Dylan's like, oh, he's committed to Boston College. I don't care. Yo, I need you to come down for a visit. A very, very intuitive young man on and off the field. Not your normal visitor. He came with questions. He didn't just come to see. He came with questions along the line of, man, don't play with me. Don't play with me. Like if you're just trying to fill numbers, because I know you lost a running back recently. If you're just trying to fill numbers, I want to play. I need to know I'm gonna have legit opportunity to play. Well, Notre Dame shows you every week, young man. 4 running backs are going to play. Like our third running back caught a swing pass in the first quarter. Like, yo, you're going to get an opportunity to compete. But it's thick up in here. Don't get it twisted. This room is thick. And it's going to be even thicker with Nolan James and Justin Thurman when they get to campus next off season. So we're going to watch some film on this young man left. DePaul Catholic Prep out of New Jersey. #1 running back in New Jersey. Like I said, he's the teammate of Elijah Burris. And left, I'm just interested in seeing what you think about the young man. 4-star, originally committed to Boston College, decommitted, and committed to Notre Dame shortly after getting back home. Very shit. Yeah, he good feet in the hole, elusive, good speed left.
Yeah, he doesn't slow down when he's making contact.
Elijah Burris on the block right there.
Great to see. You're not slowing down, making contact, running through tackles, second level speed, great finisher. I think Dina McCullough loves a great finisher. That's what you see from Jeremiah Love. He hits that second level, he's finishing. He's not going down for a tackle.
Really nice.
I like the way he runs.
Nice.
Yep, he's got a good forward lean. Shifty. Yeah. And he keeps the ball tucked. Sometimes guys make moves and the ball gets away from their body. He keeps it tucked in. That's a good quality to have. And he's a downhill runner. He's not getting to the hole and tiptoeing. He's hitting that thing full speed, and good luck if you can tackle me if you can, so to speak.
Like you said, it's acceleration left.
Mm-hmm.
And his ability to keep top speed even when he cuts. And he runs strong. He reminds me of Jeremiah in that way. He's 5'11", 205, but he runs strong.
And he's not necessarily ducking his head on lowering his head on contact. He's more so using his body to still keep his head up, find ways to get through the hole. I love the way he has a forward lean when he runs. Really good prospect, man. I'm surprised he was committed to Boston College this early.
And what do you mean by that, Lef?
Just more so like, this is a premium running back, in my opinion, from a style. Like, I love the way he's able to run with that forward lean and be able to make the jump cuts necessary. He's not giving up on the play. Some running backs, they get to the contact, they just duck their head to fall down.
Okay.
He's looking to score it every time he touches the football, which you don't see very often. He's throwing different moves in there. He's got a stiff arm, but he also can run you over. He also can make you miss. You fall in love with that Ashton Genty type of style where he can hit things full speed, and it takes more than just one man to bring him down. He's got all the intangibles you like in a premier running back, not just a running back that can do certain things for you in certain parts of the field. You give him the ball anywhere on the field, and he's going to make plays. And you can tell his team is giving him the rock in many different situations: screens, outside runs, inside runs. And he's a hard tackle. And anytime you can be a hard tackle, you're a special player.
Once again, Nolan James, 4-star running back, DePaul Catholic out of New Jersey, teammate of Elijah Burris, who's a wide receiver commit, who's having a fantastic season himself. And you see why that team, they're beating the traditional powers like Bergen Catholic and all the top schools in New Jersey, the way they are. They have some talented players on offense. So, Nolan James, welcome to the 2025 Notre Dame recruiting class.
Yeah, great pickup. That's one of my more favorite recruits in terms of just watching his film. Sometimes he'd be a great recruit, but you don't like watching the film too much. You can enjoy watching his whole film because he surprised you each time, which is the different ways he's getting to the end zone and getting yards, and he's definitely stressing the defense. You think you got him, and you call a great defensive play, and he's busting that thing up for 50 to 60 yards at a time. So, once again, great identifying the unique talents, throughout a running back, because it's easy to watch high school running backs that are good because they just one cut, 60 yards. You're like, oh, he's great. This kid's a little different. He's working holes. He's making the defense stressed and breaking arm tackles and, running through contact. Great finisher. I think that's the biggest thing. Can you finish runs? And he does a great job at that.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Then big news comes down Wednesday. 2026 4-star linebacker out of North Carolina. NFL pedigree once again, Thomas Davis Jr., the son of linebacker Thomas Davis, legendary Carolina Panthers linebacker.
I already like him. We like legacy. We like legacy. Yeah.
He commits. Marcus Freeman, I don't know what. These NFL players, dude, they're like, I want my son to play for this dude.
Well, I mean, they get that. They're like, no matter what, I can get my son the things he needs to get to the next level. But then Notre Dame just adds all the stuff you don't get from other places. And they like Marcus Freeman. So you like the head coach. You're getting all these things that they can't necessarily add themselves. But from a football perspective, they know that if they go anywhere, okay, I can teach him this and help him on this, and we can do this. But Notre Dame caters, I think, more so than anywhere else in the country to an NFL-type legacy. So I'm not surprised that another NFL guy feels comfortable putting his kid at Notre Dame, where he knows that there's things that Notre Dame can add. You put the education piece in there. You put, the 4 for 40 matters to an NFL legacy guy because he's like, dude, I got the football stuff down. I'm not just chasing a football bag or the prowess of these top coaches. I know that I can coach my own kid. Notre Dame adds all the stuff that I can't necessarily give my kid and the experience I can give my kid, but it's the professional setting that can get him in that NFL locker room and take him on his own way. We can go to the Texases and the Georgias, big schools, but that's not the shining light, it seems like, for these NFL legacy guys who wants to give their kids a little more because they know the football side's covered. And then on top of that, they're like, oh, they got Marcus Freeman. I damn near played with him. I damn near played against him. I like everything about him. He's a young guy. And Notre Dame does a great job of selling itself. It's different than the recruits that don't have NFL legacy, that are top 5-star, 4-star players that want a little bit more than what college offers, right?
Yeah.
College offers a ton of things, and when you don't have an NFL dad per se, or NFL legacy or family in that matter, you might be chasing a couple things that Notre Dame doesn't necessarily have open for you. But when you got all of that before you get to college, Notre Dame is like that perfect segue to be like, okay, this is your nice school, home away from home. They're going to take care of you. I know what it looks like to be taken care of at the highest level. Notre Dame provides that, where other recruits that don't have that, they're like, okay, well, I like these shiny things over here. I like the freedom and stuff they do over here. NFL dads know what structure means to a career, especially ones that had great success in the NFL. Your Jerome Bettises, your Burrises, your Clarks, they know what the legacy and success means. So they're like, this adds to a legacy when I put a Notre Dame stamp on there. Brian Young, he knows what that legacy has done, that structure from Notre Dame has given himself. So he's like, oh, I'm going to just put my son in that same structure. And this, we like the coach. We're a big fan of the coach. So
the coach actually welcomes the kids and the parents.
So I know he'll take care of my kid, on top of giving him that discipline that I know he doesn't know he needs. A lot of these top players, not saying they don't know that they don't need discipline or whatever the case is. It's just a certain expectation and a certain level of prestige that you can add to an NFL legacy that the dads may not have gotten, that they had to learn on their own, being at a different university around different guys with different culture and all that. And they had to carve out their own to be who they are, the Thomas Davises and this, that, and the third. At Notre Dame, you got that structure and that culture and those fits that make sense because it's closely aligned to, okay, if you want to get to the league, that's the closest way outside of the football field that can get you that longevity that I can't promise you by just training you on the football field. Right. So I think that's what these NFL guys are thinking. They're like, man, I could teach you all the drills. I could teach you all the moves. I could do all that. But the structure, the discipline, being on time, the coach, the other kids at the school, that's what's going to propel you past what I can teach you on the field. And I think it's an instant attraction. Plus, when they go, they probably find out more about Notre Dame that they probably didn't respect or didn't know when they played against Notre Dame or when they didn't get an offer from Notre Dame. Now they're getting the attention. They're like, well, I would have went here now that I know what I know, and now my son's good, so it makes sense. That's why we're the number one in moms and the number one in NFL dads. I mean, because it's just that we offer that niche that a Georgia may not offer. Thomas Davis probably looking at you like, man, my kid can go there and get washed in the whole culture things, and they drive fast cars and do crazy things. And I'm glad that the bag doesn't impress them as much. And I'm sure, Marcus Freeman's like, yeah, we, not give them a couple dollars here and there, but it ain't nothing of what you're going to get at the other place, and they're okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. John Massey with the GTB question. Left, what's the move on the parlay this week? The kids got any pointers? Does a little.
They choose first the shiniest thing right now. So if that's what you're looking for, the shiniest pick, don't do it. Don't do it.
Man. Parlays this week. I would take Jack Kaiser to get the over in tackles, whatever his tackles are. I would take that.
Yeah, I got
take the under in the Chiefs and Bills game.
I'm taking the over. I think that'll be a high scoring game.
No, it won't be. First of all, the possessions, the Chiefs only give you 5.5 possessions per game. I mean, that's a stat. Think about that, Lev. The Chiefs are giving teams, they are averaging 35 minutes time of possession per game, bro.
That's
35.
ridiculous.
That's crazy. That
But
means
that's what the play calling does.
that means you get 25, which is like 5 possessions per game, right? Out of 5 possessions against a top 2 defense, if you don't score at least 3 of the 5, and I'm talking about touchdowns, not field goals, touchdowns, I just think it's going to be a low scoring game, bro. I think it's going to be like 23, 20, something like that.
It's I'm taking the over just because the hype, and these are always good offensive matchups. I would take the over now, you know.
Now, Buffalo's without their top 2 receivers.
Yeah, but
Keon Coleman's
Josh Allen he plays well against Pat, and you know they hype that up enough. I think that I would feel more safe taking over this time. But you know, Patrick Mahomes trying to put that whole rivalry thing to bed, which is why I think he's going to be a little more motivated to go out there and do better. And so,
you know what's crazy? If they win this game, they would literally have a 3-game lead, no, a 4-game lead on everybody for the number 1 seed. So we're talking about Andy Reid 3 weeks with 3 games left being able to shut his team down and rest cast.
What do you think professional league shutting teams? I mean, do you think that's a positive?
Dangerous. No, it's a dangerous proposition. I think it's a dangerous proposition on any level.
Oh, any level. Okay, I think professional.
I would rest the quarterback like Pat, because Pat takes
Pat, I'm just waiting for that Ravens Chiefs matchup in the AFC Championship. I can book that. NFC, I don't know. It's open. A lot of teams are good in the NFC. You know, from
Bears about to go on that 7-game win streak, dog.
Y'all play Washington next week, right? Y'all play Washington next week.
We're about to win the North. We already lost to Washington. We play the Packers, then we play the
Lions and the Vikings, and y'all just play all conference. So
7-game win streak.
What you think about them? What you think about them saying bench Caleb for Tajin? I think that's going to be downhill for y'all after that.
They're not doing that. They're dumb, but they're not that dumb. They're dumb. It's a really dumb organization.
They said the veterans want that. They said the veterans want a bench Caleb, but you know, y'all news is out of control now. You know, ever since y'all let that slide. But the thing is, the Bears will be good next year. They'll get some draft picks, and Caleb will be better.
They'll get draft picks, but will they make the right draft picks? You know, you can get all the draft picks in the world. We have the Panthers 2nd-round pick, so we got, I think, 2 first and 2 second.
Y'all be like the Lions. You know how the Lions was lowly, terrible, got the right coach, and it took about 2 years for them to really get rolling. They got
are they going to choose the right head coach next year? That's once again. Who's going to be the head coach? Will they make the right decision? These are questions that need to be answered, Left. There's too many holes to fill. That's what I'm saying. Like, forget Caleb. It's just too many holes to fill for an organization that has consistently shown they don't know how to rightly fill and answer questions. They always give the wrong answers. Always. Always, bro.
So you're saying it's the administration before coaching?
They're bad, bro. They're bad. They can't even get a new stadium built.
I thought you already got it in the works. In New Arlington?
Nah, bro. They tried to do that to force Chicago to get them a stadium.
They sold it in the papers first before they.
Because Chicago cannot lose. The city cannot lose the Bears from a revenue standpoint.
Well, hell, the way they playing, they losing the fans after the first half.
Man, look.
But Bears fans are big everywhere. I mean, they got a couple bars out here that are Bear oriented. I mean, I went to one when they played Washington. Now you talking about sad. I thought the Browns fans were sad after losses. I was at the game.
They are sad.
You talking about being mad? I'm like, y'all mad in Arizona? Like y'all really had a chance? You know, like
Super chat for my guy Jay Lamont. Thank you. Easy parlay, Riley and Jay love scoring. Jaden over yards. Jay Greyhouse is coming on. That's not a bad bet. That's not a bad bet at all. That's not a bad bet at all. I can see that. Lucky Lefty podcast. Predictions. Put your predictions in the chat. What you got left? How do you see the Virginia Cavaliers Notre Dame 2:30 p.m. Saturday? How do you see it playing out? What's your score?
I got us a 48-10 victory.
Okay.
And Chris Tyree get the one touchdown senior day, you know, make it all worth it, the whole thing. He probably trying to play a little harder, and I think he'll get the one touchdown and they get a little field goal. So 10-48 us. And I think we'll pour it on first half, more so second half, because the senior day, a lot of emotions. I think we'll play fast. So I got us handily winning, of course. But, shout out to Tony Elliott. He's going to bring his best, and he get his team to play probably the best they have all year. They're going to run the ball hard, and I think, it'll be effective for a short period, and then they'll run out of options. That's just how a lot of teams have been against Notre Dame's defense. They just run out a lot of options towards the end.
You said 48-10. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm in the same range. Notre Dame got over 50 because of the Luke Talich interception. They started off slow, and I'm going to say 45-10. 45-10. Yeah, I think 45-10 is. I think that's fair. And even in saying that, you do. Malachi Fields is probably going to be the biggest challenge the young defensive backs have faced since Louisville.
Yeah.
Malachi Fields is going to challenge. He's got big receiver, loves to go, take the top off the defense. Physical. Calandria, he just plays like his hair is on fire. He can take off. He's going to put the ball in harm's way a couple of times as well, though.
Take some chance. Well, you got to expect these last couple of games, teams are going to take more chances than usual, especially them not being playoff teams per se, and they're looking to knock off as we climb, they're looking to play a little harder each time to be a upset team, because that's what college football is made of, and I'll expect all the stops to be pulled out, and we should be expecting that.
See everybody pretty much in the same range. We see 39-7, 41-16.
Because I find it hard for us not to score as the game goes on, because the defense will give us either short fields or turnovers.
Sean Massey says the shutout is this week.
Wouldn't be bad.
I said but last week, like, this is a shutout game, and that first drive pretty much they let Florida State.
This is the week where you put first quarter bets. I think first quarter bets would be your winners for this week. I think we'll start faster than weeks before. I just feel like we'll come out with a hair on fire.
All right, Tennessee, Georgia. Left, who you got? Tennessee, Georgia.
I got Georgia bouncing back. I really do. I think Kirby always finds a way to motivate his team in a way that many may not believe, but he'll get his team to believe, and then they got a lot to go out there and prove versus a Tennessee team that is been consistent. I don't think they got Nico back, do they? Because I know he was out for a little bit. So
no, he's in concussion protocol. I don't believe he's practiced this week.
Yeah.
So
I got Georgia making a better run at it. Less Carson Beck, more running the ball, and a heavy defensive presence should be the formula for victory for them. So I got Georgia winning. I'm taking the under, though. I don't think they'll score a lot of points. I think it'll be their defense having a better stand on the Tennessee's offense, and then Georgia getting enough to win.
Tennessee's defensive front against the run is really good.
It is.
I know Georgia wants to run the ball and put Carson Beck in more advantageous situations. I just don't know, man. I do know that if Nico doesn't play, it's
just
going to be troublesome. It will be troublesome. I'll give them a puncher's chance in between the hedges if Nico plays. If Nico doesn't play, Georgia's definitely going to win the game, in my opinion.
That's
just
right.
what I feel, because I don't
It's a quarterback thing for sure.
Yeah. Alabama and Mercer left. Who you got?
Mercer. in a game field goal situation, I got Mercer kicking a field goal to win.
Well, Mercer's 9-1 now. Mercer's 9-1.
I need Mercer to win. I got Mercer winning by 17-14 or 24-21. One of them two scores. Or hell, 35-38. I got Mercer winning it for sure.
Yo, you might have a better shot of Mercer winning than Auburn the following week.
That rivalry game speaks for itself. I don't have to wish on that one. They just going somehow just the rivalry, they'll play better. I don't know. But I got Mercer big dub against Alabama for sure. Knocking them out the playoffs, all of that, all of that.
Oh man. Yo, that is too funny, bro. I'm sorry. Missouri, South Carolina. That's a good matchup, bro. The fighting Drew Pines.
Drew Pine against that secondary, I don't like it. So I got South Carolina, maybe handily. Sure, we don't know, but Missouri does find a way to have a fighting spirit all the time. So I got it close. I got 24-38. No, 24. I got it 24-30.
I'm about to be disrespectful. Upset of the week. I'm being petty. Put me on the petty train. Upset of the week in West Lafayette. The Penn State Nittany Lions go down to the Purdue Boilermakers. The most embarrassing loss of the Big Ten season.
Most embarrassing, man.
I'm calling it.
James Franklin was doing a lot of apologizing that I don't think his team was going to respond well. All that apologizing and shaking the fans' hands after the game and all that. Fans real upset with you, James. And I don't, you keep holding on to this job, security. I don't,
I just had to throw that out there.
I wouldn't say they that bad though. Purdue is like, man, why are we still even playing? We need to be focused on next year.
If they play as hard as they played at Ohio State, they're going to be in the game.
They played hard. They did play hard.
They're going to be in the game. I'm telling you, they're going to be in the game. They're going to be in the game. They will.
You got Drew Allard throwing the pick six for the loss.
Yeah, we're going to need a little help. They're going to need a little help. Couple of fumbles here and there by the running backs.
That's right.
Something like that. They need a little help. Special teams, pump block, field goal block, something. Return for a touchdown, something like that. Something like that. Kansas, that game is at BYU. If it was at Kansas, I would give Kansas a chance.
I would. I mean, Kansas just beat. Who they just beat last week? Kansas.
Iowa State. They just smacked Iowa State. I mean, Iowa State was trash.
But BYU got out real close, real tight, and I think that that's gonna hang over their head because Utah is highly upset that they lost that game. They felt like they shouldn't have lost that game.
Don't worry. We say BYU for that Big 12 championship game. I want them undefeated. And I'm hoping that Colorado can run the table. That's what I want.
But Colorado got a tough last 3 games though. They got a Utah. They got who they got they got Oklahoma State in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they got another tough. They got Deion has done beyond expectations. Of course, he's a lot to celebrate. But man, it's a tough sled in them last couple games.
So left, we have Notre Dame winning big and getting ready to take on their last ranked opponent, the Army Cadets, coming up at Yankee Stadium.
You have to put 60 on Army just to let everybody know.
Just
Listen,
because, like, look,
just
here, man.
because y'all trying to hold that as a game of the week, college game day, probably all of that. So Ryan Leonard needs to have his best game against Army if we want, good success in the playoff.
Lucky Lefty podcast. So once again, Notre Dame, we look for them to romp against Virginia. You guys enjoy the game, enjoy your weekends, enjoy your family, love each other. And as always, you have to make sure that you continue to spend it different.